What's going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video, here to break down some New York Jets news on a new signing and some updates that we got from Robert Saleh today during his press conference. Doing the video a little bit earlier than I normally would have liked to today on Wednesday, but as you can see by the jersey today, I am going to, unfortunately, my favorite baseball team's game today, which they're not a very good team, which is why it's unfortunate. But yes, that's why I'm wearing a Mets jersey today. I'm going to the game at 4 o'clock, so I wanted to get a video out before I leave in order to talk about, again, the news of Tarik Cohen and some other updates we got from Robert Saleh in his presser. So the Jets are signing Tarik Cohen, who was a really dynamic player in the league from like 2017 to early 2020, and unfortunately has had a really tough go of it the last 3 years. We'll talk about that, but he was at his best in 2018 when he was an all-pro returner and had 1,169 scrimmage yards. He was interesting because he was always more of a receiver out of the backfield than he was someone who would take a bunch of carries, which is fine. Useful player, not a lead back, but the Jets don't need a lead back. They have one of those in Breece Hall. They also have, 3 other guys on the roster, 2 who you just drafted in Izzy Abanikanda. So I think Tarik Cohen and Izzy Abanikanda will be competing for that 4th spot. But really the big thing with Tarik Cohen is his special teams ability. Now, Robert Saleh did say that he will compete with Xavier Gipson for the job, but he was very clearly excited about the Tarik Cohen signing.
Tarik Cohen signing? Was the question?
I bet that you would be the one that asked. That's a good one. Tariq, explosive playmaker. He's starting to get back healthy. But with the new kickoff rules and these kick returners, they're gonna touch the ball over 100 times a year, which is significant. And at least that's what we're anticipating. And a guy like him, he's still young, obviously coming off his injuries, but we're excited to have him aboard.
Cohen led the league in punt return yards in 2018. That was his best season. He was a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro that year. He had 411 punt return yards, and from 2017 through 2019, so 3 years in a row, he was one of the best punt and kick returners in the game. And I like Xavier Gipson. I'm rooting for him to continue to grow and get better. But with Gipson last year, he had an excellent first game against the Buffalo Bills. Huge moment. But I thought he looked very shaky at times after that. And he doesn't always feel like the most confident guy fielding punts. And that's an issue. Is there any denying that he is an explosive player with the ball in his hands? No, absolutely not. Xavier Gipson, once he corrals the punt or the kickoff and gets in space, is a really good football player. But I think going into his second season, an area I would like to see him improve is actually fielding the punts and fielding the kickoffs and just being a little bit more comfortable with that, because the confidence level I don't think was always there with him. Now, as I mentioned for Cohen, maybe he could push Izzy off the roster, which is just really unfortunate that, yes, the Jets hit on a running back in the second round with Breece Hall, but I mean, LaMichael Pirine and Michael Carter and potentially Izzy Abanikanda, just add him to the list of guys who don't day 3 swings at running back that just don't last very long. I really like the idea of day 3 swings, but just not ideal. And who knows? I hope Braylon Allen stops that, or maybe even Izzy Abanikanda, ends up performing well in camp and he has to make this roster, but. That's something that we have to discuss here. It's a possibility Izzy goes one and done with the Jets. But for Tarik Cohen, as I mentioned, injuries really derailed his career. In the 3rd game of the year in 2020, he tore his ACL and MCL, missed the remainder of 2020, all of 2021. He gets cut by the Chicago Bears before in 2022. Before the 2022 season, and while he's training, trying to make a comeback, he pops his Achilles. So just, again, absolutely devastating. You have to feel for the guy who, again, he tore an ACL and MCL, missed essentially 2 full years, and then trying to fight to come back, pops his Achilles in a workout video. Like, that is absolutely brutal. So I'll be rooting for Tarik Cohen. It's a really good story. I don't think that this is an absolute lock that he is going to make the roster, but it is going to be exciting to watch him this summer. I think that's someone I'll be keeping a close eye on this summer in training camp. Robert Saleh also gave a Mike Williams update. He is in the building and he is progressing and, quote, looks good. So he is someone like Tarik Cohen a few years ago. Tore his ACL early on in the season, is fighting to come back. I don't think we see a ton of him this summer. I think they work him back slowly, which is okay. And hopefully the New York Jets are in a good spot with the rest of their weapons where they feel like they don't necessarily have to, again, like I said, rush Mike Williams back. But if he's progressing and looks good, you obviously want to hear that at this point in the process. It's still May. There's a few weeks to go before training camp opens at the end of July. But all good signs and good reports coming out from Mike Williams. We'll wait and see. Again, in July, August, we'll get a better idea. But for now, a positive update, it seems, on Mike Williams. Robert Saleh also confirmed that the Jets will be practicing against the Giants, Commanders, and Panthers, the three teams that they play in the preseason this year. They will be having a joint practice against. Very curious to see how that goes. I feel like the competition from those are a good thing, but also I just have PTSD from that 2021 practice against the Green Bay Packers where you lost Carl Lawson for the season, and that really changed his career forever. And I believe Mekhi Becton got banged up in that practice too, ends up coming back, gets hurt week 1, but it's you have the injury in the back of in your head, and you just got to hope that both sides like take it well and are safe with each other and all that good stuff. But we are getting confirmed combined practices with the Giants, Commanders, and Panthers, so will be interesting to see those storylines and as they develop in August. Last thing, Robert Saleh talked about his involvement on in the offense and how that's changed for him as a coach.
For me, last year was year 1, so there was a lot of I talked about it last week in my press conference. A lot of learning even for me. First time I had been a part of an offense where the quarterback had such a voice. And so a lot of it was me absorbing and along with everyone else and learning this new system. It's year 2. It's this natural evolution. We've got a really good grasp of the offense. And so just trying to provide some insight from a defensive perspective, just to understand what they're trying to accomplish and just trying to provide some insights. If it feels more, it's probably just, like I said last week, there's a lot more dialogue, and including from myself, but it's more from a defensive perspective.
Again, my stance on this remains the exact same that it's been ever since this news came out. I think it's about time. It is a good thing that the head coach is more involved in the offense. That is something that should have happened in 2021. That's just the reality of it. And if you want to hold that against Robert Saleh or criticize him for that, it's valid. It is a valid criticism, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we went over in this news dump. Thanks for tuning in. I am Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you guys next time.